Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is me, ZahZah here, and you are tuned into the new History, Mystery and Makeup today. So today we're going to be doing a video that hurts my heart a lot. Even doing more research on it, even though I knew a little bit, doing more research on this particular case, it really hurt. So I have decided that for this video I will not be doing my makeup. I am just going to tell you the case, run through it, and yeah. I hope that you are okay with this, and I hope that you still find it enjoyable nevertheless. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go into the case of the kidnapping of the Chibok schoolgirls. On the night of the 14th of April 2014 at 11 p.m, 276 schoolgirls was kidnapped from their dorm room in Chibok in Borno State, Nigeria. The girls were loaded into trucks and driven to the lawless Sambisa forest, which was a nature reserve taken over by the jihadist group Boko Haram. So why was these girls kidnapped? That's the biggest question. Well, for 5 years prior, a rebel insurgency in the northeastern region of Nigeria had been terrorizing the region and forcing schools to close. However, in April, the government secondary school for girls decided to reopen for the girls to be able to take their exams. They thought that it would be safe, you know. They hadn't had any attacks at the school before, so they thought that it would be okay for the girls to come back and do their exams. And I'd like to just say, like, just how sad it is that I think we take it for granted so much here in the UK, especially, like, that's all I can talk for, that we can just go to school and not really have any issues about just being able to go to school and learn. And these girls was just at constant risk of attack. We're now in 2020, and you would think that by now all the girls would be home with their families or in schools, but unfortunately 112 girls are still missing, and unfortunately most people presume them to be dead, considering how long it's been. There were 57 girls who managed to escape quite early on after the attack and kidnapping, 10 of which ended up in American schools. The other girls that didn't go to American schools were able to receive government help to attend a tightly controlled campus in Nigeria. The only problem is we haven't really heard anything else since. We still don't know where those 112 girls are. But let's go back and talk about what happened and where the girls that did survive and managed to escape are now. Boko Haram targeted schoolgirls especially because of their opposition to the Western education. They believed that it corrupted their Muslim values, especially where many of the girls were Christian. So like I said, Boko Haram opposed the westernization of Nigeria. They also opposed the concentration of wealth of the country to a small political elite, especially in the south of the country, which is mostly Christian. So their main aim is to establish an Islamic state in Nigeria. Before I carry on, I just want to say, please excuse any mispronunciation of any of the words that I say throughout this video. I don't mean no disrespect. Some things may just not be able to roll off my tongue, but I'm trying my best, so bear with me. Founded by Mohammed Yusuf, Boko Haram in the Hausa, I believe, dialect actually translates to Western education is forbidden. Now I am going to attempt to pronounce the other name that they are known by, and I'm going to read it off my notes, but please do not come for me, I'm trying. So they're also referred to as the Jama'atu Alis Sunnah Lida'awati Wal Jihad. If I said that wrong, please someone correct me, tell me how to say it. And that means people committed to the propagation of the Prophet's teachings and jihad. So what happened to the survivors? So in 2016, the first young girl Now we're talking about 2 years later. The first young girl to be found by civilian patrols was Amina Ali. There are two girls mainly that, if you look into this case, have retold their story quite a lot throughout in the media, and they've spoken quite openly about some of the things that had happened to them. Maybe not so in depth, and I don't blame them for it. The two ladies' names was Patience Bulos and Esther Joshua. So on the night of the kidnapping, the girls explained what had happened to them. The girls were marched out of their dorm rooms by gunpoint and loaded up into an open truck, and whilst driving they noticed that some of the girls had just decided to jump off of this moving truck, roll off, jump off, any way to just escape whatever their captors had in store for them. They didn't even know what could come, but they would rather risk, you know, being lost in the forest, or, you know, dying from being shot as they escaped, than be put to endure anything that Boko Haram had in store for them. When Patience and Esther, who were taken at the same time, were placed on the truck, they were initially seated together and was holding hands at the time. But as everyone started to jump off, Patience, you know, she just thought to herself, she has to find a way off of the truck. She needs to survive. So when she looked to obviously tell Esther her plan, or to just grab her and take her with her, she realised that Esther had been taken deeper into the truck, which would have made it impossible for her to get to her. So Patience managed to jump off of the truck, and she actually escaped. She ran back to her village, Askira, I think it is, and she was just bombarded by parents of the school children and journalists, just asking her what was going on, what had happened, and just wanting to know more where their girls were. 10 of the girls, including Patience, that managed to escape that night, was taken to the American University of Nigeria to seek shelter and education. If they wanted to continue their education, they were offered the place, and they decided to go. They were also offered university scholarships in America to study, and Patience decided that she wanted to go to America. She obviously just wanted to get away from everything that had happened and get the education she felt that she wanted and needed in America. When the girls are getting ready, actually packing up their stuff and preparing for their impending flight to America to study at the university, at the same time a school security guard went to the president of the university, Margie Ensign, and informed her that 57 girls had also escaped. There were some really strong girls on these trucks. I mean, it must have just kicked in, you know, that survival instinct must have just kicked in for these girls, because for you to just not panic or just freeze, knowing that running from these people could potentially kill you. But I guess all they thought was, I either die trying to run away, or I die, you know, in captivity. Many of the girls jumped from the truck, like I said earlier, and one of the girls, Mary Kay, actually conspired with a lot of her classmates to split into two groups, and they asked to go to the bathroom. When they was in the bathroom, they would run for their lives. The girls managed to execute this perfectly. They all ran, and because the kidnappers were arguing, they failed to catch them. The girls managed to escape. They managed to run away. It took Mary Kay 24 hours to finally get back to her home village. But when she did, she didn't get the greeting that she probably hoped for. She actually found that there was just fighting, just chaos and fighting, and it was not what she needed. Not at that time at all. Following the news of the survivors, the president of the American University of Nigeria, Margie, decided to get a bus straight to Chibok and collect any girl that wanted to come and continue their education and be safe as they could keep them, which they did. The American University of Nigeria was very prestigious. Many of the children that went there was daughters of politicians and wealthy, and Margie, the president of the university, just felt like it was going to be very difficult for these girls to fit in and, you know, keep up with the education that the rest of the children was receiving, due to the fact that they had come from poor quality education. Many of them either couldn't speak English or their English wasn't that great, so it was going to be a struggle for them, and that she didn't want them to be held back. She wanted them to succeed. So Ensign decided, right, I'm going to assign the girls to Reginald Braggs, who was a Detroit native, to try and help these girls to achieve as much as possible, just get them up to the par of the university so that they could achieve. At this point there was 24 girls that had been taken to the university. So Braggs decided to form the new foundation school for girls for the 24 girls that had managed to escape from these kidnappings, and this scheme would help to prepare them to actually go and attend the university. So they wasn't exactly, although they lived on campus, they didn't attend the university. They had their own scheme where they received their education. So in order for them to then attend the university, there was next steps for that. So this was just to prepare them to be ready for that, for university. The girls were actually mentored by the honor students, the senior honor students, and they actually received extracurricular activities like music lessons, drama, shopping trips. They still was able to get a full amount of life by being at this place, maybe even a better education than they were receiving at their previous school. So between the 2014, when the girls were enslaved, until 2016, there was many rumors being spread about the girls that were still in captivity. Many rumors about them being enslaved, forced into marriage, and even starved. As I was saying earlier on, if you remember, there was one girl who managed to escape, and her name was Amina Ali. She managed to escape with her baby. She actually had had a baby by this time, and we can all just work out by me saying that whose baby that possibly was. In October 2016, the Nigerian government managed to exchange money and prisoners that they had for some of the girls. They actually managed to get 21 of the girls out of captivity. When the girls were released, these 21 girls, they were very malnourished and very unwell. So they was taken to a hospital in Abuja, which was 700 kilometers away. One thing that I read that made me really sad, I almost actually was in tears about this. When the girls were taken, the militants actually gave them two choices. I'm actually getting emotional now because it's so horrible. They were given the choice to either convert to Islam and marry, or to become a slave. And most of the girls decided to become slaves. If I'm honest, I'd probably do the same thing. I think by that point, I wouldn't think that I had much left to lose. It was like, I would prefer to have my own choice than to have to convert and marry. You know, if that's not something I wanted to do for me. But then I can't imagine the torture that they went through as slaves at all. 82 more girls were actually released in May 2017, and it was broadcast across the world. The whole globe was able to see the girls following their release. And this was actually where patients read the name Esther Joshua as one of the girls that was released, and you can just imagine how happy she must have been. The girls were so close, and to know that your sister was still in captivity. Well, you don't even know if they're still in captivity, if they're even still alive, and to read the name and know that your sister, someone that's so close to you, has managed to get out alive and well, she must have been over the moon. In September 2017, over 100 girls were escorted by security through Abuja airport to Yola. They was then loaded into 8 buses and taken to the American University of Nigeria. This was where they met their other 24 classmates or schoolmates, and added to the scheme that was ran. And I just can't even, I don't have words for how they must have felt. When Esther arrived at the university, she got a message from one of the girls from Patience, and they managed to speak, because at this point Patience was already in university in America, so they managed to call each other and speak. And you know, the girls just explained, well, Esther explained her experience and just swore her to secrecy. So Esther must have some real deep demons, and just must be so traumatized, all of them, for what they've been through. And I'm not surprised if they don't want to delve into, you know, exactly what that was. And to be fair, I don't know if I'd want to know, because I don't know if my heart could take it, to be honest. Unfortunately, there is a lingering trauma for these girls, like I was saying. You know, many of them have bullets and shrapnel still lodged inside their bodies. One has a prosthetic leg. One has to use crutches or a cane to walk. You know, this is not something where they was taken from and now they're out and now they can live their lives and carry on, you know, and move on from it. They're dealing with not only the psychological trauma, but also the physical trauma that this kidnapping had on these girls. These girls had spent 3 years in captivity. 3 years. 3! But even when the girls were released, even when Boko Haram decided to release the girls, he said to them, if you return to education, they was going to kill them. I'm so glad the girls didn't listen to that threat and still chose to go and get their education, or some of them at least, because I just don't have words. I just don't have words. It's just disgusting. I'd find it disgusting. Like, everyone has their views and opinions, and especially when it comes to religion. But there's just where you stop, draw the line on, you know, how far you're willing to take it, where it's going to impact the females of the future, like the women that are going to be. Anyway, so the University of Nigeria has been made very, very, you know, tight. There's very high security. There is a guard that is there 24/7. There's always a guard watching the dorms, following the girls around wherever they go, in and out of the dorms, just to ensure their safety. The girls also have a 24/7 support system from 11 student affairs, who live in the dorms with them and provide support where they can. They also have a nurse and a walk-in psychologist, so they can just walk into the psychologist's office as and when they need to. So, let's talk about life for the girls after Boko Haram. So the government and private donors are actually covering the costs of the girls' education. So many of the girls have decided to go down the route of law school, medicine, acting, writing, accountancy, the list goes on. Just amazing careers for the girls to undertake. And 15 of the girls so far have managed to graduate from the new foundation scheme, or school, sorry, and are now studying at the American University of Nigeria. Well done, girls. One of the girls who I previously mentioned, Mary Kay, she came to AUN unable to speak English. She felt very uncomfortable. The other girls would whisper about her when she was, when she passed, and she didn't feel that she was fitting in very well when she first got to the university. However, 2 years later, Mary Kay is now fluent in English. She actually mentors the NFS girls and prepares them for their entrance exams to the university. She also helps them to perfect their English. She's just doing amazingly well. I'm not going to deny that she probably still has a lot of trauma and so on, but she's pushing forward and doing her best to just have a great life for herself, and it's just amazing. That bit really made me happy. You know, when you read something, you're reading something and you're researching something that's so sad and brings you so much turmoil, and then you read more stuff and you find the accomplishments of what a lot of the girls have achieved and what they're doing now, and it just kind of makes you feel a bit better, you know. And this year, 2020, Mary Kay was actually going to spend a semester in Rome. Considering, corona, I hope she managed to go and get back safely. But if not, I'm sure she can defer it till next year, and hopefully everything will be back open so she can do that. I'm just so happy for her. Sadly, this just isn't the case for many of the students in Borno State. Due to Boko Haram's war, classes have been cancelled for 2 years. None of the local children have been able to study. In neighbouring states, 500 schools have been destroyed, 800 have been forced to close, and 2,000 teachers have been killed. Over 2,000 civilians in Fufor camp, which is like a refugee camp, are still awaiting peace so that they can return to their homes. With 2.5 million displaced across the northeastern of Nigeria. In 2019, to mark the anniversary of the girls' escape from captivity, the drama club of the American University of Nigeria decided to put on a reenactment of the kidnapping and escape and being brought back to their families. In the play, they actually made fun of ineffective police, lazy politicians, and the greedy kidnappers. At the end of the play, of the performance, the girls read messages that they had all written to the remaining girls that have still not been found, and they lit off a balloon to commemorate. One of the messages said, "Dear sister, I know the angels are watching over you." What is really frustrating from doing this research especially was that the families of the girls, the 112 girls that are still missing to this day, it's like they've just been forgotten about. The government and everyone have just left them. It's almost like there's just this thought that the girls are, passed away, let's just move on and forget about it, try and move on from this. But the families want answers. The families are still searching for their girls. They're still searching for their children this many years on, because, so many girls were released. There must be, They must be able to be found. The last statement released by President Buhari to assure the Nigerians, he stated, efforts are being intensified to secure the release of the Chibok girls. And nothing since. There are many mysteries and theories surrounding the attack and the kidnapping of these 276 schoolgirls of Chibok. The number one question is, why had the military initially said that the girls had been released shortly after the attack? No one seems to understand why they said that, when clearly none of the girls had been. The only girls that had managed to get away on the first day, or shortly after they were kidnapped, were the ones that risked their own lives and escaped themselves. The second question is, the British Air Force had actually located the girls. This is what they said, the British Air Force, that they had located the girls in the Sambisa forest, and they had asked the Nigerian government, do you want us to save these girls? Do you want us to go in and save these girls? And according to the BAF, the Nigerian officials said no. But I will say that the Nigerian government denied this ever was the case, that this ever happened. The third big question is, why are the kidnappers continuing? 300 elementary school children was taken in Damascus, and a further 110 school children were apparently taken in Dapchi. And in the case of the children in Dapchi, many of the children were actually died in the attack, and of the survivors, all but one was released. The answers to some of these questions is difficult to say, but it's something that many people believe, is that the kidnappers, the country officials and the army are all benefiting financially from the case of the attacks in Chibok. The Nigerian government was given billions of dollars in donations and whatnot to help fight the Boko Haram and to be able to get these girls back. Some chilling facts: UNICEF estimates that 1,000 children have been abducted, and this is only since 2013. Red Cross have also estimated that 22,000 people have gone missing during the conflict of this Boko Haram war. So we all found out about the kidnapped schoolgirls of Chibok through social media mostly, and the news, and this was because their families mostly were just going hard, protesting and doing whatever they could to get their message out there in Nigeria to get some sort of help. They managed to get themselves on social media, and that's when we saw the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag. At the beginning, like with anything, there was a lot of protesters, a lot of people was helping, donating and travelling and trying to do whatever they could to support the families and the government to bring back their girls. However, now the amount of people that are showing up for protests and supporting have depleted enormously, and these girls are still missing. Like I said, 112 of these Chibok schoolgirls are still missing, and to this day the families just pray for their safe return. But the fight continues to bring back our girls. Right guys, so I know that was a really heavy one this week, and that's why I can sure you understand why I did not do my makeup at the same time. I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel it appropriate to be doing my makeup while talking about it. I think this case really hit me. I'm sure you can just completely understand where I'm coming from, and hopefully forgive me for not doing no makeup. If it is makeup that you want to see me do, I will put a card right up here. You just click it and it will take you to some of my other videos where I am doing my makeup and telling you a history or mystery case. So I do hope you enjoyed this video and it was informative, and you know, I will leave any links down below to you guys to not only see what makeup products that I've used, also information about the case, and also if there's any way that you can still support the families of those 112 missing schoolgirls. But yeah, sad one, but they're not all gonna be happy, you know. If you did enjoy this video, then please do go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. If you really like this video and you're new to this channel and you thought, do you know what, I like that girl, press the subscribe button down below. And if you're an oldie but goldie, thank you for sticking with me, watching right to the end. And yeah guys, as I always say, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom, just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I'll rise.